This is the Ballroom State of Mind podcast, episode 42, 4 Stages of Mastery. Hello, my friends. How's it going? It's January. And are you guys making resolutions? I'm not really much of a resolutioner, but I think that's because I just kind of tend to set goals all year round and try to work on my self-improvement all the time. I just am kind of in that mode on and off all year. And maybe some of you feel the same way, especially as dancers and always working towards things and working towards competitions. So when it comes to resolution season, I always feel a little bit tired of the resolution talk. I'm like, I've been doing that all year. Why do I need to do it again right now? So I don't usually set a lot of resolutions this time of year, but I am thinking about the year. I am thinking about all the competitions this year. I did 8 competitions last year and it was a lot and it was expensive. So I think I'm going to cut back this year a little bit. That's my goal, but I always want to do all of that. I want to do all of the things, and especially because I just love seeing you guys. I love seeing competition organizers and other dancers again and again throughout the year, and just all the people that we meet at competitions and catching up with them and having time with my studio, my teacher, traveling a little bit. Sometimes my husband comes, sometimes my girlfriends come. And so I just love all of it. So it's hard for me to not want to do it, but it's a fresh year. It's 2023. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with this year? How do you want it to be different than last year? At least give a little bit of time to thinking about that. What I want to talk to you about today came out of a dance strategy call that I had. A dance strategy call it's essentially a consult, with the only difference of I give people a little bit of help there. They bring their biggest thing they're dealing with in their dance, and I give them a strategy for it. And then we talk about if I think coaching is a good fit for them to move forward. And so on this recent dance strategy call, she brought up something that I hear commonly, which is something around, I want to feel confident and dance with passion and, emote, feel something, but I can't do that when I'm thinking so much. I'm overthinking and I'm thinking things like, I don't want to mess up. And I'm thinking about what comes next and what does come next. And just worrying and kind of overthinking. And it's like those two things are not in congruence. How do we express confidence and ease when we are not feeling confident or at ease? And this is a fundamental problem. How are you supposed to dance freely with passion and confidence and also maintain technique? I've had other clients say to me, I was watching my video and I was having so much fun when I was dancing, and I could see in my video that in the moments I was having so much fun, I was dropping technique. And so what do I do about that? So that's what I want to talk about a little bit. And the short answer is you're not supposed to be able to do all of the things. You're not supposed to be able to be relaxed and free and at ease and have passion and think about all of those things. What that's telling me is that you're in your head a lot, you're thinking a lot, and you're using that prefrontal cortex, which is that part of your brain that we need when we have to concentrate on something. And when we're in that prefrontal cortex, then we can't get into the subconscious as much. You can't think about a lot of things and details and also express ease and freedom. So here's what you need to understand about your brain. Your brain has a couple of parts that I want to focus on. One is the part of your brain that's the conscious part that you have to think through things on purpose with intention, and it requires your energy and attention. And this part of your brain is very active when you're doing something new, you're doing something unfamiliar, or you're just doing something that just requires a lot of concentration. And then there's a part of your brain that does things automatically, and you don't have to do the hard work about thinking through it. This is your subconscious, which now experts are calling your non-conscious, but this is the part of your brain that for things to be done automatically from this part of your brain, you have to repeat them a lot. And it's that simple. So when you're asking me this question about how am I able to do all of the things, what I'm hearing is there's still a lot you've not done enough of that your brain can delegate it to that automatic part of your brain. You are trying to do it all from the prefrontal cortex. You're trying to do it all from a thinking part of your brain, cognitively from that conscious part of your brain. And that part of your brain is just plain limited. The brain loves it when you repeat things enough times that it can delegate those activities to that non-conscious, because doing those things doesn't take mental energy. It's called automaticity. And you guys know what this is, and you experience this. And this is why you want this in your dancing, because you have areas of your life where you are experiencing automaticity. It's the ability to do things without occupying the mind with the low level details required. So it allows it to become an automatic response pattern or just like a habit. This is what I would call the zone in athletics, where when you're in the zone, you're not really doing a lot of thinking. I ask people, I say, have you ever been in the zone? And they say, yeah. And I say, what are you thinking about? They're like, nothing. I'm just doing. And that's exactly right. But to be in that zone, it doesn't come magically, automatically. People get into that zone because they've repeated these motions, they've repeated these activities so many times that their body just knows what to do. How much conscious, intentional thought energy do you have to put into walking? Not very much, right? Riding a bike, driving. How are you able to drive somewhere, carry on a conversation with somebody in the car, and also like put lip gloss on? And it's because you do not have to think about how you hold the steering wheel and how you press on the gas and the brake and how to adjust the radio and what you need to be looking at in your mirrors and what's behind you and what's in front of you and where do you need to turn. All of those things you've done so many times, they just are automatic and you don't have to think about them, and it feels so easy. You just do them. You just do them now. When you first were learning to drive, it wasn't that way. You had a lot of things to think about. But now you've done them so much, they aren't hard and they don't take your concentration. The good news is with dancing, you get to take advantage of that. And in dancing, we might even call it just muscle memory, but it's just that we've repeated these physical movements so many times that you don't have to think so hard about it. It's been delegated to that non-conscious. And the body is actually quite good at delegating physical movements to this part of the brain. That's why we have the term muscle memory. It's as if we all understand the muscles kind of have their own memory. Like I don't have to think about it. The muscles will just do it. It feels like the body's just doing it on its own without me thinking about it at all. So that is what I think we want. When somebody is coming to me and they're saying, how do I like dance freely, confidently, passionately, emotionally, and also think about all the things that I'm supposed to be doing with my body? And this is what comes up is like, you can't. You want to delegate all that stuff that you're trying to think through and instruct yourself through in your body. You just want that to be automatic. You just want that to be you being in the zone. You just want your muscle memory to do it. So how do you develop that automaticity of the body? And I'm going to call this the 4 stages of mastery. Okay. Because that's kind of what we're doing here is we're trying to do it so much that we've mastered it, that we can just like do it in our sleep. So stage 1 is where we just acquire the knowledge. This is the very beginning of introducing a skill. You might see a video of it or someone's teaching it to you, and it's when information's brand new. At this stage, we might not even do anything with it yet. You might just be aware of it, or you might just understand it intellectually, but you haven't really translated it into yourself and into your body. It's entered your brain, but you haven't really begun to apply it. And this stage, it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good in your body. It feels stiff. It feels foreign and uncomfortable. Your movements might feel slow. And if while you're doing the thing, you get distracted, it'll probably disrupt you. If somebody's talking to you as you're trying to do it, you probably can't do both things at once. So this stage, you are working so hard in your prefrontal cortex. It takes a lot of attention. It takes a lot of mental and physical work to do what you're trying to do. This stage might also not feel very fun or easy. I think it's fun in the beginning when you're first learning a skill, but when you're trying to get it into your body, it might not feel fun. It certainly won't feel easy. And a lot of people don't even begin things because this stage is so uncomfortable. This is where you're confronted with what you don't know. You're confronted with the fact that you're a beginner, and that can create a lot of insecurity and doubt and embarrassment. So a lot of people won't even begin because of the discomfort of this stage, stage 1. And then we got to move into stage 2. Stage 2 is when you start applying that knowledge, but it's just inconsistent. I've experienced this stage so much. You probably do too, because you're now introducing like keeping your posture and keeping those shoulders down while you're dancing, or you're trying to point your feet as you're going through all parts of your choreography routine. This is a stage where you're going to have a lot of transitions. Your movements are going to become smoother a little bit and a little less stiff. And there might be certain parts where you can execute them without much concentration. This can be a tricky stage because there are going to be times that you feel like you're getting it, but it's just not consistent yet. This stage has, especially in the beginning, still a lot of conscious thinking happening. Like you're going through your routine and you have to really think about it. You have to really think about, I call it the 10 things. That's kind of the joke I always say when I feel like my coach is overloading me. I say 10 things. And it's like, I'm trying to think of 10 things right now. And so you're in that conscious part of your brain and doing a lot of mental work. As you continue to practice, this percentage shifts. So you'll have times when it's a high percentage of that conscious thinking, concentration, focus. And then as your muscle memory strengthens and as you do those actions and activities repeatedly, more and more things start to get delegated to that automatic part of your brain, that non-conscious. And so the percentage of things that just come automatically increases. And so you're shifting. It feels a little bit easier bit by bit. You might say to yourself a lot, like, I'm getting it. I feel like I'm getting it. And this stage can take a long time sometimes, but you also might experience some impatience. But there is a little bit more satisfaction, I feel like, in this stage because you are seeing progress. You are seeing that percentage shift. Stage 3 is when you're applying that knowledge consistently. So whatever skill you're trying to gain, whatever figure you're trying to do, whatever choreography you're trying to learn, you're applying what you've learned and it's coming consistently. We can rely upon it. This feels more automatic. It feels easier and smoother. It's less exhausting mentally. You don't have to think about pointing your feet. You just do. You don't have to think about keeping your shoulders down. You just do. You once had to think through every part of a 3-step turn or like how to shape a C curve, but now you can just do it. Your body just can go into it because you've developed that muscle memory pretty consistently. So this is the part of your lessons where you're executing your choreography and both you and your coach can see that you have it, right? It's like you can rely upon it. You have the ability and the capability, and it's gotten so much easier to perform. This stage can be deceiving because you've learned it and you're applying it consistently. And so it can lull you into a certain sense of security. It's not a false sense of security because you are in this stage. But what you might not realize is there's one more stage that will take you to the next level. But I think we think we're kind of done when we get to stage 3 because it feels consistent. We don't have to think quite so much. Stage 4 is when you can apply that knowledge consistently while under pressure. You guys know this is a different level because this is like you can do it in practice, like by yourself. And you're like, yes, I got it. Like, I can't wait to show my teacher. And then as soon as you get in front of them, it falls apart. And you're like, I don't know what's happening. I could do it so well when I'm on my own. But as soon as you got eyes on you and a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress, we can't do it consistently. Or if you can do it in your lessons with your teacher and you're executing it so well, and then you get to the competition and that pressure of that competition for whatever reason makes it so that you lose some of that stuff. So that tells us we're still in stage 3, which is not a bad place to be. Stage 3 is not bad at all. It's not a problem. But stage 4 is when you've done this so much that you can do it like driving. You could carry on a conversation and put on lipstick while you're going through your choreography. I mean, I'm just kidding. But you understand the idea. It's like so automatic, so in your body that it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what pressure's on you. The odds that you're going to like make a mistake is so vastly reduced because you just know it so well. And most of us don't practice it to this level. We just don't. Because to get to stage 4, you have to engage in something called overlearning. And I don't love this term because it seems negative for some reason to me, but overlearning is when you've learned something to the point that you can do it well, and then you keep doing it. You keep doing it again and again. So you don't do it just until you can get it and do it well. You do it until you can't get it wrong. This is mastery. And most of us don't go here. Most of us hang out in stage 3. And again, that's not bad. But those pros that you watch, that you might be comparing yourself to at times, they're in stage 4. They are overlearning all the time. They're able to execute what they want to consistently under pressure because they've repeated it so many times that likelihood of getting it wrong is just so small. It's not that they never make mistakes, and it's not that they're never unhappy, but they've just greatly minimized that concern. And here's what I think is the real problem and why we don't always feel confident is Most of you, myself included, are expecting it to feel like stage 4. We want to be in stage 4 where it feels easy and automatic, where we've overlearned it and we can't get it wrong. And we want to be there, but we haven't done the work. And I'm not even saying that you have to do the work or that you should. I think stage 3 gets it done. But what I am saying is that your expectation that you should be at that level of mastery, that level of comfort and ease, expecting to be there without doing the repetitions necessary to get there is the problem. It's that expectation. You're asking yourself to perform at a level that you haven't prepared for, and your brain knows it. I don't say this to shame you. I'm completely against shame. So I'm not saying this to have you judge yourself. I'm just showing it to you because I want you to see it. You're trying to think and instruct yourself into a physical result that you haven't physically created yet. Your brain knows exactly how much you have prepared. And when you're expecting a performance that exceeds your preparation, it feels like insecurity. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like anxiety. It feels like pressure. And those emotions are not congruent with confidence, which is ultimately what you want. Okay, so it's the expectation that is the problem. It's not how much you've prepared even. So when this client brought this to me, she wanted to feel more confident, right? It's when you believe you're lacking something, that you aren't ready, when you're thinking, I don't know what's next, and you're trying to remember what's next cognitively with that prefrontal cortex, you're leaving room in your mind that you might mess up, and you can't think of those things and also feel confident. But here's the secret. You don't have to be in stage 4 to feel more confident. There's a couple of things that you can do to feel more confident no matter where you are in your journey. Because again, it's not what stage you're in or even how much you haven't prepared that generates the self-doubt. It's the incongruence between what you have done and what you're expecting of yourself. It's that incongruence, it's being out of alignment that creates that insecurity and that doubt. You can feel confident with what you do have now, and I'll tell you how. The first part isn't a mystery. You just have to prepare yourself. Okay, the physical part is simple. It's just reps, repetitions. And it's okay if you only do your repetitions up to stage 3. It's okay if you only do repetitions that get you to stage 2, where we're kind of inconsistent. But whatever you want to do, please just physically do the reps. You have to practice. You have to physically do it again and again if you want to be better at it. That's it. If you're working at it and you're doing those reps, you will see improvement. You will feel it get easier. And knowing that you're on the right track will inspire more confidence. I mean, it's not a mystery that if you're not practicing and you're not rehearsing, you're not doing those reps, that you're not going to feel confident. Okay. Like, it's not a mystery. When you do more reps, you have the confidence from just knowing that you are working at it. You are preparing. You are getting better all the time. And you even start to see yourself as the type of person that puts that kind of work in. And that inspires confidence. The more you prepare, the more reps you do, the more you can let go of thoughts that you don't know what comes next or that you don't want to mess up. Your brain will start to relax because you know if you have prepared. When you have done so many reps that you don't have to think so much about what the body does, you can give your conscious attention to what you want to express. You can give your conscious attention to if you're smiling or not, or what you're feeling. You can play and be free and expressive because you aren't having to think so much about those details. You can have that, but you have to earn it with your time. And again, you don't have to even worry about what stage you're in. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. And the stages take care of themselves. The second thing that you can do, and I actually think this is equally important, is you have to manage how you think about where you are. And part of that has to just do with honesty. There's a certain amount of peace that comes with honesty. It's that incongruence between where you are and where you think you should be. You're kind of lying to yourself. Okay. So I want you to be honest with yourself, but not like in a judgy, condemning, shaming way. Like, look at you, you haven't practiced enough. Like, not that. It's about just coming into alignment about where you are and where you think you should be. Where you are is where you should be. Because listen, as dancers in your overall dance journey, there's no end to your progress. No matter how much you prepare, you're always going to believe you could have done more. And that's because your horizon for that accomplishment that you want is it's always moving. As soon as you get to where you think you want to be, the goal shifts. And so you can get into a trap of never feeling good enough. But I don't want you caught in that trap. Because if you think that way all the time, especially when it comes to a performance or time to compete, you're going to undermine yourself. When it comes time to perform, it comes time to compete, a mindset of not good enough or not ready, I don't know what's coming, it's not going to help you. In those moments, you need to shift into what you have is enough. That you will do your absolute best with what you do have and what you have gained up until that moment. When you are in that moment, we are not thinking about where we should be. We're thinking about where we are. And you have to believe that what you have is enough to do what you need to do, but not more than that. This is what I think a problem in a lot of competition is you've prepared a certain amount. And then when you get to a competition, your brain knows that you're trying to tell yourself to give more than you've actually prepared for. And that creates that stress and pressure and overwhelm. Be honest about your level of preparation. Again, no shame. Just be honest about what stage you're in. It's totally fine if you're in stage 3 and you can do it well and consistently, but when we get under pressure, we drop some things. We drop a little bit of technique because we haven't overlearned it. Check to see if you are expecting to be in level 4 when you have not done the reps to be there. If you haven't done the reps, but you expect mastery, and then you judge yourself for that shortfall, you're going to undermine yourself. You're going to add stress and pressure and expectation and judgment, and it's not going to make you dance better. It just won't. It's really important you understand I'm not giving you these stages of mastery for you to use against yourself. It's not to give you a level of perfection to shoot for. It's meant to help you understand where you are and then have compassion and understanding for yourself. It's to help you release those expectations that you should be anywhere other than where you are. So the good news is, again, you don't have to be in stage 4. You are going to be at varying levels of mastery at any given time. We are in and out of these levels. You are in and out of these levels on a specific figure. You're in and out of these levels at a whole category. You're in and out of these levels as you're learning choreography, you're preparing for showcases. You might be in level 4 as a bronze student. You've just been there a long time. You've prepared, you know your choreography, and you know the technique that you should have to that point. And then you shift into silver, and now we're back to level 1 in a lot of respects, to stage 1. Some styles or even figures, you're going to be in varying levels of mastery. You might have certain styles where you feel like you're in stage 4, but then like in smooth, you might feel like I'm in stage 4 more of the time, stage 3, stage 4. But then if I'm doing rhythm, maybe I don't feel that way. Maybe I feel like I'm more in 2, where it's kind of inconsistent, or moving into stage 3, or you're just in stage 3 for a longer time in rhythm for whatever reason. I feel like I'm in stage 4 only in moments, but that's okay. It's not a problem because I don't expect that I should be there all the time. I expect that I should be right where I am. And that creates so much peace for me. It removes shame, it removes judgment, and it's way easier and more effective to work on my dancing when I'm not weighed down by those emotions. It keeps it enjoyable. And as I've talked about in other podcasts, if you like it, you will want to do it more. And if you keep doing it and you keep doing it more, you're going to get better, full stop. So keep it enjoyable. Keep working at it. Keep trying to get better, but don't do it from a place of not good enough. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to wait to arrive to some magical place before you allow yourself to be happy with your performance. Don't expect perfection, though it is nice to imagine that could exist, but it can't. It doesn't. It's not a thing. So let what you have done be enough. Remove the expectation that you should be more than you are, or that you should do more than you've prepared for. You are enough. You are okay. And when you dance from there, even with potential imperfections, you will dance better. You will express yourself better, and you will perform better, and you will score better. Isn't that what you really want? An experience you enjoy? Whenever I ask people, why are you dancing? They say, because it's fun and they love it and they want to feel some growth and they want to challenge themselves. This is what you want. You want an experience where you feel good. So if you attend to making sure you're feeling good about where you are and what you're doing, the improvement that you seek will come. The dancing you're trying to create will come. Attend to how you feel first. Stop working against yourself. Do what you can to prepare and then let it be enough. That's where confidence comes from. Confidence comes from feeling like you're enough. And that's making peace with exactly where you are. Try not to overthink. Try not to overinstruct. Just trust yourself a little bit more. You've got this. All right? That's what I have for you today. Catch you next time.